Hello and welcome to this special edition of HBM's Crypto-Corner. This is the one I promised that I would talk about. Today is July 10th, 2019. It was 95 years ago tonight that the Ape Canyon incident occurred. If you read Mark Marcel's Mountain Devil, that's when the Vanderwhite claim was abandoned, as it were. This, on BigfootEncounters.com, is the entirety of Fred Beck's book, I Fought the 8 Men of Mount St. Helens, Washington, told to his son Ronald Beck. Now, one thing he does is he gives one of the miners a pseudonym of Hank. He does not name the other miners. But Mark Marcel did name them in Mountain Devil. But this is the entirety of Fred Beck's book. It was a small book, wasn't very long or a big book. But it told the story according to Fred Beck and from his perspective. Now, I have to say that Fred Beck did get into some spiritual stuff, and he thought that perhaps these creatures were connected to the, shall we say, supernatural. I mean, he had the right to do that. But this basically tells the story. This is the entirety of it right here. You can see the abominable snowmen are from a lower plane. When the condition and vibration is of a certain frequency, they can easily, for a time, appear in a very solid body. They are not animal spirits, but also lack the intelligence of a human consciousness. When reading of evolution, we have read many times conjecture about the missing link between man and the anthropoid ape. The snowmen are a missing link in consciousness, neither animal nor human. They're very close to our dimension, yet are part of one lower. Well, yeah, that's what you got to prepare for when you're looking into the Fred Beck claims, as it were. Do I believe this event happened? Yes, I do. Now, Fred Beck always, his signature was, yours in a higher dimension. And that's the same way Mark Marcel signed Mountain Devil. The very same way. So this is the book, I Fought the 8 Men of Mount St. Helens. Now, Mark Marcel, as I said, he's been working on locating the Ape Canyon cabin site, and he found it in 2013. I know that a good friend of mine, Shelley Covington, Montana, has been to that site. Dark Waters Paranormal Investigation Team has spent their warm months hunting down evidence of the Ape Canyon cabin, and after a series of fortuitous clues, believe they finally discovered its location, but don't go asking for directions because DWP ain't giving them out, at least not yet. And they're not giving out the directions. There's really not much left of the cabin. There was a, what you call it, look at this. These are some of the nails and a spoon. There was a rotten horizontal log about 6 inches under, or 6 feet underground with the nails driven into it. The long 20-foot side of the cabin, guessing the uphill side. All surface evidence of the cabin is gone. 1936 trail map told us that one could see the cabin from the trail, but that was only 12 years after the incident. In 1968, Fred Beck had heard that the cabin had burnt to the ground. In 1972, hikers told Peter Byrne they had visited the cabin. Today it's rocks, steep slope, and trees. The nature of the site carries a high probability of very little human impact. The area has never been commercially logged, as there are so few trees and these are very difficult to get out. The danger of traversing the area makes a high rate of human campsites unlikely. The excitement began with the discovery of the wire about 16 inches long with a coil loop at one end, like for a baling or a handle sticking vertically in the ground. The excitement grew with a shaped nail about 4 inches long, jumping up and down and yelling, and vigorous handshaking ensued with the spoon. A single spoon, just an old spoon, about 6 feet underground, but this was the clincher. We started finding more and more nails and finally got to a rotten horizontal log, again about 6 feet underground with the nails driven into it. As best we can tell, we probably found the long 20-foot side of the cabin, guessing the uphill side. Marcel goes on to say there is plenty of work to be done yet, with more expeditions planned to continue excavating the area for better evidence, and even an X-ray dispersion analysis to help date the spoon. These guys may very well have uncovered some real Bigfoot history. So there you go. And if you are friends with Mark Marcel on Facebook, definitely um, ask him if he would provide you with a copy of Mountain Devil. He provided me with a copy, and it's great. I've already reviewed it on this channel. But it tells the story. It tells the story based on newspaper accounts, based on the claim for the Vendor White mine. Now, you got to remember, these men, they were working a gold mine claim. They really thought they could find gold. I mean, they realized that they had something there, and they had to abandon it because they were attacked by these giant apes. So it must have taken something really powerful for these guys to abandon a gold mine. They could have been rich for the rest of their lives. They could have been wealthy beyond their wildest dreams. But they had to abandon the gold mine because of the apes. Now, yes, they shot at the apes first, which, I mean, back then you didn't know what Bigfoot was. And I really don't see anything wrong with defending yourself. You know, these men felt like they were threatened. They felt like their lives were threatened. So they shot these creatures. Oh, and by the way, there's been a controversy for years as to when exactly Fred Beck shot the creature that fell into the canyon. Did he shoot it the day before the attack or the day after the attack? Some accounts say it happened before, some accounts say it happened after. Regardless, either way, it's still fascinating that he shot one of these creatures and it fell down into the canyon and the body was never found. Now, if that body could have been found, That would have been fascinating. Unfortunately, that did not happen. But this is fascinating. It's a fascinating case, and it happened on this day, this night, 95 years ago. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this special edition of HBM's Crypto Corner. We'll be back with a regular edition next week. And until then, y'all be good or be good at it.